Hi guys, it's Georgia here, and I'm back again. I know it's been like I guess 2 months since the last video. This is one of my first videos, so you know I was expecting to do more, and I was expecting it to do like right away, but I had some trouble with my grandma who was ill. I was sick. My dad has been having some trouble at work. So yeah, it's been a crazy month and a half to be honest. And honestly, it's not like I don't have time to record my videos, but it's like never the right time here. There's always someone going, someone coming, someone yelling, someone I mean, it seems like in this house there's never peace. But yeah, it is what it is. So this is finally a moment of peace and I thought I'd record this. So this lot is actually a pretty cool lot. I mean, in my opinion, but you can totally think that this sucks. But I was inspired by the latest update, which came out, now that I think about it, a couple of weeks ago. And it gave us a new lot trait, which is Team Hangout. And I think it's pretty cool because, sometimes I found myself in lack of teenager sims or children. I don't know if you know what I mean. It's just that sometimes when you play with families, like you have kids or teenagers, there aren't a lot of other teenagers or kids around. So you basically, yours is basically the only child or teenager in the whole, not just in the whole world, I mean, the world that your Sims live in, but in all of the other worlds. It's basically, it's insane and it's really annoying. So sometimes I just go to the gallery, download some families with kids, and put them in one of the worlds because I think one of the most important part of being a kid is socializing. Kids need to socialize. So I was really every time this happens, I'm really really upset. But I think that this lot trait might change things. Honestly, I haven't been playing with a teenager in a while, so I don't know if it actually changes things. But I think is since the purpose of the lot trait is to make more teenagers come to this lot. If your teenager goes to this lot, maybe you can meet someone of their own age. I think it's pretty cool. If they did something like this with the kids, with kids, with children, it would be really, really great. But for now, I'm just gonna go with what we've got. So yeah, as I said, I was inspired by the new lot trait, and this is gonna be it's a pretty big lot. There are a lot of stuff in it, and there's a basement, there's a recording studio, there is an art room, I guess. Yeah, and there is a bar. There are a lot of games to play, and there's also a pool. Yeah, so I think it's pretty cool. And the style, it's pretty industrial. At first, I was going to do something completely different because I wanted to do something really modern with a lot of windows, and very shiny, very modern, very bright. But then I started to build this in, the spice market. I think it is. Yeah, I think it's a spice market in Sao Maishuno, and I realized, you know what, maybe an industrial style would be great. Oh my god, I just realized that with the move objects on, that door is basically, a piece of that door is floating. Okay, if you download this, please mind that you have to fix that. Sorry about that. I really didn't notice. I just noticed right now. Also, the lot has been in the gallery for quite some time because, as I said, uh, I have been trying to record this for, a couple of weeks basically, but I couldn't find the right time. So if you want to download it, it's already available, and it's called Team Cave. Um, yeah, it's pretty nice. Up here, I'm gonna put some computers because I thought, teenagers love the internet. Yeah. So there are not exactly, I think, desks where your Sims can do homework. I mean, I'm gonna put a desk downstairs, I think, in the reading area, but I figured that I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but usually your teenager Sims or children tend not to use desks to do their own homework. I mean, every single time I build a child or a teenager's room, I never put a computer on their desk because I I assume that they will use it for their homework, but instead of that, they don't. They just, use the dining table or the couch, or sometimes they just sit on the floor, but they never use the stupid desk. I mean, guys, why would you use your desk? I mean, if you can sit on the ground to do your homework, why would you use your desk? I don't know. I don't even know why I'm asking. It's it's really annoying. It's almost like where they just you tell them to do something and they just stare into nothing with that stupid smile on their faces. Like, you know, I wish I could kill them right now in that moment. Oh, anyway, this is a small kitchen. It's not exactly a kitchen because it doesn't have a kitchen. But yeah, there's a microwave and a few fridges, and there is the bar with the espresso machine that came with get together expansion pack. It's a little area for your Sims to eat something. There are some tables, and yeah, I think it's pretty nice. So what I want actually to say is that I saw the little trailer that was released, I think last week, that announced a new game pack and a new stuff pack, which is a family themed game pack and sports. I guess it's sport. Yeah, the stuff pack. It should be about sports, if I remember correctly. Anyway, I'm really not that excited about the sports one because I'm kind of a lazy person, so yeah. But the family themed game pack is really, really interesting because, as I was saying before, sometimes there aren't a lot of children around the world, and I think the main reason is, well, basically how the game was built. Was at first, at least, we didn't even have toddlers. So I think that this means that probably the game was a little bit more focused, sorry, on the young adult life stage or the adult stage. So I guess they didn't really care about kids that much. I mean, one thing that made me realize this is that teenagers are basically adults. I don't know if you've noticed this, but in The Sims 3, there were a lot of things that teenagers couldn't do. In The Sims 4, teenagers are basically adults, with the only thing that they cannot woohoo, even though they actually, in a way, can. I don't know. Yeah, it's a little bit unclear, but anyway, they have to go to school and they cannot have a full-time job. They can only have a part-time job, but aside from that they can do everything the other Sims do, young adults and adults do. I remember in Sims 3 this wasn't exactly how it I mean pretty much they were like this, but I don't remember right now, but there were some things that teenagers couldn't do. First of all, they were shorter and they look different than young adults, but in Sims 4, when they age up from teenagers to young adults, you cannot notice the difference. Basically, the clothes are the same, their face looks exactly the same, they are as tall as they were before, so there isn't exactly, that much of a difference. I guess one of the reasons is because nowadays teenagers are pretty much like adults. So if you think about it, being a teenager is different than it was 10 or even 8 years ago. So I guess that's one of the reasons why they chose to make teenagers so similar to young adults and adults. But what I really don't. What I really didn't like was the fact that kids were not exactly. I mean, there weren't a lot of activities for kids because teenagers. I mean, they could do pretty much everything young adults do, so there are a lot of activities for them. But for kids, they cannot use all of the objects that adults can. I mean, they cannot use even half of the objects that adults can use, which means that they cannot really, enjoy themselves like adults, which is, of course, normal, but I don't know if I'm making any sense. I'm just ranting. But yeah, I think they didn't exactly focus on kids. And for a person like me who likes to play with kids and families a lot, the fact that we didn't have toddlers only was just absolutely a nightmare. I mean, not a nightmare, but it was really sad. After a while, I got used to it. I got used to it, so like pretty much everything else in the game. But it always felt like there was something missing, you know. So I'm pretty happy they're gonna bring all of this just to say that I'm happy that they're gonna bring more activities for families to do together because for a life simulator game, which should revolve around families. It really doesn't. It was really really very focused on young adults and adults. The first expansion pack was actually get to work, so you know. And second one was get together, and the third one was city living, which was it's basically something that revolves around the young adults and adult life stage. But enough of this. I just wanted to say that I think some of you and some of the others might be a little bit disappointed because they were expecting a pets announcement or at least an expansion pack announcement. Because since this is a quarterly trailer, which basically covers spring and the first few months of summer, this means that we're not going to get an expansion pack probably until July or August. So a lot of people were expecting pets because it was hinted, it was, I mean, not announced, but it's pretty much clear that we're going to get it sooner or later. And I think, me personally, and I guess a lot of people, we thought that we were going to get it earlier, sooner. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with the content that we have, and I'm pretty happy that we're gonna get a family themed expansion pack. But I get the disappointment of not having pets because sometimes, I create a family and I'm like, oh, I really wish I had a dog or a cat for this family because I don't know, they add just like toddlers, they add something to the game that I don't think any other expansion pack can. Just like Seasons, because Seasons is definitely my favorite one. Oh my god, I love Seasons. Like, see the world changing in that way was basically amazing. In The Sims 3, we in Seasons we had the festivals, which were really great, and they had a lot of family activities as well. But what was great was the fact that the weather changed, the the trees actually changed. They just lost their leaves and then they got them again during spring. It was really really realistic, really really cool, and really really laggy as well. Because I'm not gonna lie, the Sims 3 was basically full of bugs. I mean, it was probably the buggiest. I don't know if that's a verb or sorry, if that's subjective, but it was definitely the buggiest game I've ever played. The Sims 4 runs definitely more smoothly than The Sims 3, and that's something that I really, really like about The Sims 4. It basically never crashes. Never. Sometimes it happened. With my old computer, with the new one, not so much. Anyway, talking about again the build because I definitely went. I mean, I was talking about something completely different. I only put one bathroom in the whole build because I thought, it's Usually Sims don't go to the bathroom that often, which is really weird because I go to the bathroom, I mean, like at least 4 or 5 times a day. It's only, I mean, your bladder, yeah, can only hold that much. But they go to the bathroom like twice a day or something like that. They even eat only twice a day. I mean, if you want, you can make them eat 3 or 4 or whatever number of times during the day. But yeah, it's weird. Anyway, this is a little entrance area, and yeah, it's nothing special, just a couple of chairs and a nice fish tank, which I have to say it's probably the most annoying object, sorry. I mean, it's really great because when you have like a space and you don't know what to put in that space, like in that case, it's kind of handy because you put a fish tank there, it's pretty, and makes the place look great, and it fills the space basically. But the Sims are like staring at it every 2 minutes. I don't know if you've noticed this, but every single time there is an aquarium, I mean, aquarium, not exactly a fish tank in the room or in the house or in the lot, if it's a community lot, they just go and stare at it every single time. I remember once I built a restaurant and my Sims run this restaurant, and every single time I mean, not she, they seated, I mean, they at their table just got up and went to stare at the fishes in the fish tank. So I had to move it. So that didn't happen again. I have to say though, Dine Out is probably the most bugged, the buggest uh, game that we got in Sims 4. I mean, I don't know if you have noticed this too, but Dine Out is really, really annoying sometimes. I mean, lately I've been noticing an issue that I actually never did before, but it's basically lately I haven't been playing with restaurants that much. But my sim was running a restaurant, and after a while, all the food came out was poor quality. I mean, my chef was completely skilled and the quality of the food was absolutely, the ingredients was absolutely the best one. So I don't understand why. I don't know even if they fixed it. Anyway, this is the recording studio, and I have to say I'm pretty proud with it because I used like the DJ console to simulate kind of a console from a recording studio that has all of those buttons, and I really don't know because I've never been in a recording studio before. I only see them in TV shows or movies, but basically I think they look pretty much like this. They have windows, sorry, yeah, basically a window that you can look at the people who are playing in the other room, and you can only talk to them pushing a button. I mean, this is the only thing that I remember about a recording studio, but I think it came out pretty great. I actually built something like this in another house. I mean, there was this family that was super rich, and guys, I didn't cheat. They were rich because I make them become rich. So I'm pretty proud with that. Anyway, they had this super huge house and I didn't know what to put in it. So one of the children, she was actually really into music, and I thought, you know what, maybe I should build a recording studio, and I did. And I took that idea and I remade it the recording studio here. I think it looks pretty great. So yeah, let me know what you think about it. So this is gonna be like the bar area. It took me forever to figure out the bar area because at first I was gonna put like, yeah, this bar, but then I was like, oh, it really doesn't fit. And then I choose another bar, and then another one, and then another one. So to find the right bar, it took me like basically half an hour. It's not gonna be that long because of course it's sped up, but trust me, I was going to. I mean, I would this close from crying. Seriously, it's like one of those times when you're like, oh my god, I really, really don't like this, and you really don't know how to make this better. It happened to me like yesterday while I was building a living room, and everything that I put in that living room just wasn't right. I suggest that sometimes when this happens, you just maybe build another room and go back to it later. Because if you go back and if you do it later, I mean, sometimes you have a different perspective, and sometimes, you have a different idea. So maybe just it taking sometimes it really helps. But yeah, this is pretty much it. There's also going to be a pool outside this lot, which is, I think, pretty great. I was going to put like a gym area, because for Sims who wanted to work out, but I couldn't find a place to put it. And honestly, guys, I mean, this is a team hangout lot. So if you want to go to the gym, I mean, if you want to work out, just go to the gym. Basically, what I did was that I wanted to put so many things in this lot. I mean, so many activities for my Sims to do that I don't know, maybe I exaggerated a little bit, but I just wanted the Sims to have a place where they could do everything they wanted, because I know that sometimes traveling from one place to another can be really annoying because of the loading screens, which are definitely necessary. But sometimes basic. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm lazy, or maybe it's because my computer is not that great, so it takes a little bit longer for it to load every lot. So I always try not to leave the house. Basically, I remember in the Sims 3, my Sims were barely in the house. They were just going around and around. But I think the open world was probably the reason why that game was so laggy. I mean, if you think about it, it had to load all of the lots, all of the places that were in the world at the same time, which is, yeah, I think it's a lot. But yeah, so at first when Sims 4 came out, I thought that loading screens would be a step back. But then again, thinking about it, the absence of certain things like the game crashing or my Sims being stuck for hours or the game freezing, I mean, I'd rather go through a loading screen than having that again because it was really, really heavy. I mean, playing with that game, sometimes it was a challenge. I loved it. I I did, but it was, yeah, it's definitely a little bit heavy. Anyway, I'm also gonna put like a little cinema in this lot. It's gonna be around here, but I don't think it's gonna be in this part, but probably in the next part because yes, it's a two-part build. Originally, I wanted it to be like one part, but yeah, it really didn't work. I mean, after 2 hours, I was like, oh, I've been building this for 2 hours. Maybe I should stop. Or, I mean, I was like super focused on what I was doing. And since then, I mean, my desk is really, really uncomfortable, and my chair is even more uncomfortable. And I have some issue with my back and my neck, which means that after a while that I'm seated on that chair in a determined position, which is the one that you have to have every time you're at a computer, my neck just starts hurting a lot. So after 2 hours, I was like, I cannot stand this anymore. So yeah, I decided to split it in two. Also, I mean, the second part is gonna be really short. I mean, not really short, but definitely shorter than this, probably like 14 minutes. It's basically gonna be me adding some decorations because I realized that this in this part there are no decorations. And here is the part when I realized that I didn't put a door that gave the Sims access to the backyard. Oh my god, it's just that I like that little reading area and I really didn't want to change it. I like this area in front of the, well, I mean, that seating area under the stairs too, but I guess, I mean, I changed it a little bit, so I kept it and I just put a door there. And I think it looks pretty nice in the end. I mean, the garden is not going to be exactly great. I mean, there is a pool and a couple of more things, but to be honest, I I mean it's the thing that I probably like less about this build. The least. I mean it's it's nice, but it could have been better, I admit it. Every time I build something, I always say to myself, it could have been better. So yeah, it could have been, but I don't think it looks that bad in the end. I tried to put some greenery around, but it didn't really fit with the whole industrial vibe, you know. So I'm gonna put like a basketball court up here, which I think is pretty cool because finally we got a sport with the Sims4 City Living, and I kind of like sports for my Sims to do. As I said, I'm a lazy person, but I mean, I don't have to sweat if they do it. So, and there's gonna be a basketball court and a little barbecue area. So, in the end, I think this build is pretty nice for your teenagers, but it's also nice for your young adult Sims or your children because there are some things that children can actually do. There are not a lot because, as I said before, most of the objects are not usable for kids. But I think if you want your sim to, develop a skill faster or use something that in your house you can actually have, especially if you have a small apartment and you can afford to put, I don't know, anything like a basketball court or something. It's a pretty nice place. Also, what I wanted to say actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there are some things in this game that really don't make any sense. Like, have you ever thought about why the telescope is that big? I mean, if you have an apartment, there's no way that that telescope can actually fit in your small balcony. If you have a balcony, if you don't have a balcony, you cannot have a telescope. That's just, I don't like that. I mean, I really hope that sometime during the future we're gonna get the small telescope. I mean, the regular telescope again. Because who buys a telescope in the first place? I mean, I don't know a lot of people who own a telescope actually. Maybe someone who's really interested into stars and astronomy, but also who buys that kind of telescope. It's like the NASA telescope. It's so big. I mean, what do you have to observe? It has that telescope. It's probably as big as my room. So weird. I mean, the only purpose probably for a telescope that big is that the Sims can actually woohoo in it. But there are plenty of places in The Sims 4 for them to woohoo in. I mean, we have beds, which means that basically, yeah, that's pretty much enough. We have bushes. What do we have? Oh, rocket ship, which is another weird thing about Sims 4 if I actually think about it. I mean, a rocket ship? It's pretty cool though. I mean, the coolest thing about that is actually if you like look at your with your camera up, you can see like the bottom of the telescope of the rocket ship, which is pretty cool. And you can see when it comes down. So yeah, this is pretty much the end of the build because yeah, I put some trees there because I was trying to put, cars and everything, but they really didn't look great. So there are like two or three screenshots because the rest are going to be in the next part, which I hope I'm going to be able to record very soon. Actually, I might just do it right now that I think about it. It's probably the only moment of peace which is about to end because I heard someone calling my name. Anyway, guys, thanks you so much for watching. I'm gonna leave you to the screenshots. Thank you again. Bye.